Sales. So, do I have your attention yet? So, the other day I was speaking with one of our paramedics, and he, we were talking about an incident that happened in our area, and he brought up a very profound statement from one of the local law enforcement officers that he was speaking with. And that was that in law enforcement, the standard they are to uphold is to go from warrior to healer, like that. That means that they have to be going from 100 miles an hour, doing everything within their power to apprehend someone with the least amount of force possible, but if necessary, use deadly force, all the way to then rendering aid in a split second. Think of the amount of mental and emotional control that requires. That's an awesome amount of responsibility. Now let's take and transfer that to our military. I had the privilege during my time of meeting a few of the elite warriors. I call them elite because that's what they are the ones that I knew. And they were the kindest, most humble people you could possibly imagine, and to the point that it humbled me in seeing just how kind and gentle they were. Now, these are the ones that I met. But I also understand that over time, things kind of begin to wear away at our moral compass. See, when I went into country, I went in with guys that I had known before, and they were good men, good husbands, good fathers. And over time, became very hardened. Because in order to survive psychologically being hunted, they had to become the hunter. I know this because it happened to me, and it took me a long time to heal from it. You have to dehumanize the person that you may be forced to kill, because it's so outside the norm of the human spirit to take life. Now, while I regret greatly my own bloodlust at one time, I understand that it was cultural conditioning. I was programmed. Look at our culture today. Children playing video games where it's fun to chase down the bad guy and kill them on a computer game. Look at our movies, television, The Punisher. Everybody's solving everything with a gun. The wrathful, the vengeance. That's what's righteous. This is what they teach. This is what we're being taught, indoctrinated with. But the elite, the teams, the operators, it's a little different. They are the modern day knights. Chivalry, moral courage, integrity, honor. These things matter. They're the standard. It's not just the standard of the elite. It's the standard of the military, actually. It's what makes us the good guys. What separates us is that at any given moment on the battlefield, we are to render aid to the very people that were fighting against us. We don't discriminate. I work EMS. We don't discriminate. All citizens are treated equally. We're there to save lives. Now, with Eddie Gallagher, the story gets really complicated. Accusations of killing a combatant in his custody with a knife and then taking a selfie with him. Now, let's just look at the selfie aspect. I get it, we live in a selfie world. I get the whole moral erosion to the point that somebody may even go to take a picture of a trophy kill. But that's where the standard comes in. That's where we're all expected to uphold the standard and hold each other accountable and bring each other back to the standard as a team. Whether it be military, law enforcement, EMS, whatever it may be, we're there to hold each other to the moral standard. And if we don't do that, and all we're doing is circling the wagons to protect, then we've failed. Because our number one mission is to serve the citizens, to keep them safe from those that may harm them, or even those that may harm themselves. Because without the citizens, what good are the healers or protectors? That's the only thing that matters, are the people. That's all that matters. And so we have to hold a certain standard. And when the president comes out and acts as if nothing was done wrong with Eddie Gallagher's actions, and then he goes on, Eddie, and commercializes himself, merchandises himself, as it was done, what's that teaching the next generation? What type of mentorship is that? Is that upholding the standard of chivalry, of honor, of integrity? Is that morality? But then on the other hand, you have the military that only wants to prosecute, only wants to persecute, only wants to condemn and punish. And at one time, this brother met the standard, the most elite standard, selected by his peers. And over years and years, being in hell, the moral compass was eroded. And instead of looking at the why and doing what they could to help the brother, they only wanted to punish him. That makes absolutely no sense. Because if all you're doing is just punishing the after effects of it, you're never going to get to the root cause. And if you never get to the root cause, you're never going to prevent it from happening again, because you're not even going to know what to look for or how to combat it before it happens again in another, or how to identify it. You're actually at that moment not serving the people, nor serving the warrior that gave all. And it's no more righteous than glorifying the actions, merchandising the actions, acting as if that's the new standard, the new norm. And that's the issue, is that what are we teaching the next generation? I often quote Sergeant First Class Lopez, love him. He's like, you can't get mad at somebody doing wrong if you never show them what right looks like. Absolutely. So if we're teaching the next generation that that's normal, that behavior is to be glorified, That whether it be video games or movies, righteous vengeance, punishing vengeance, death, murder, that's normal? What type of world are we creating? What's the new standard that we're setting? And in order to truly deal with this in the proper objective way, compassionate way, you must have compassion. And you can't hate on Trump no more than you can hate on the military or Eddie Gallagher. They've all lost their way. And only by people truly being concerned about helping, only then are we going to make things right. Just the way I see it.